Welcome to the LawyerFair.co.uk daily podcast. LawyerFair helps businesses find the right lawyer at the fairest price. But on this podcast, we just chew the fat with some great guests.
That sort of stuff.
Oh,
we're just going to have a chat about business.
Well, listen, Danny. I think we may well be formally recording, and anybody who's dropped into this thinking this is a ukulele podcast, you're on the wrong show. But I am speaking. I am speaking to Danny Bent. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you very much for having me.
Not at all. Now, I'm actually, although a fairly seasoned entrepreneur, Danny, if you want to call it that, I am relatively new to the startup game. I mean, it's kind of last 3 or 4 years, and you get loads of this advice, and one of the key things they say is always surround yourself with positive people. And I've got to say, you are seriously in that category, my friend. And I'm also talking.
Thank you.
I'm also talking to, and all the wonderful things on your CV we can get to. But there's one thing that stood out for me because I can imagine could be a burden on your shoulders.
Tell me.
You were voted one of the happiest people in the UK.
Yes, that's very true. I think that's the, I've had, I'm sure we're going to touch on some of these things, but I've had such a great life. I've had, been able to pursue things, and this still, I think being voted one of the happiest people in the UK is the highlight of my whole career. Because it facilitates everything else. Like this positivity that my mum says is one photo. She remembered it, one photo that I didn't smile in. And I wasn't smiling and it was taken. And so it's been there my whole life, and it's been the thing that's driven everything, made everything else possible.
Well, I got to tell you, Danny, that in doing my preparation, I prepare these things. It may not sound like I do occasionally, but I do. And you see that, you think I'm gonna really enjoy this conversation. And that was kind of the issue. I thought, well, it's like a bit like when you meet a great comedian, you kind of expect them to be funny every time. And that was the burden I was going to see. There must be days when you wake up and think, I tell you what, I don't feel. I'm not one of the happiest people in the UK today. I'm not, but. Does that ever occur to you? Do you ever think, well, actually, if everyone knows I've achieved this, they're going to expect me to be a certain person?
Well, I just don't allow it to be. So I'm just. I mean, anything really. I'm not even like amazingly happy. I'm just so pure to who I am.
Yeah.
I'm so Danny Bent that makes me happy. And so if being Danny Bent is like, oh God, I'm having a tough day today, I'm still that person. But in the end, that kind of leads to a kind of happy feeling because I'm just being me, and that's the best person I possibly can be.
Listen, it's in your DNA, and I think that is brilliant, absolutely, seriously brilliant, because there are a lot of people who try and spin it, and it's not always authentic. You've got to be authentic, and clearly that's you. So let's move on then to a few things that you are doing and have done. I mean, this is a guy, we're talking here, everybody, to a guy who raised $500,000 for people affected by the Boston Marathon, and was that the cycle ride, Danny, that was involving?
No, that was This the cycle ride was pretty much the first thing I did. That was a 9,000 mile cycle to India. We raised the money by basically. We just kind of thought when the Boston Marathon bombings went off and we were hearing it all over the news and everything, we just thought that's like I was a runner and the person I was with was a runner, and we were just like, this isn't. Like, this shouldn't be done. Like, runners are kind of, you're struggling through this marathon, and then to have that kind of turned upside down, and like when it should be your moment of achievement as you cross the finish line, to have that taken away, it just felt too personal. And so basically we just decided we were going to do something. And 7 weeks later, we'd organised this relay from LA to Boston, 3,328 miles, and Abatum basically set off 7 weeks after the bombing. And didn't stop moving because we had people kind of carrying it through the night, carrying it through storms, carrying it through the desert, everything like this. And that basically was what raised the $550,000. It's incredible. Like, we thought we'd raised £20,000 or £30,000, and it was so embraced by the American people, who kind of used it as this way to express their grief and their anger, and because otherwise they were kind of stuck, because you're like, oh my God, the people have either been captured or they've been killed, the people who had done the bombing, but the people were still, like, people of America were still feeling that they wanted to do something, and this allowed them to kind of do something about it. They set off running, and they ran as hard as they could, and they raised as much money as they possibly could for the victims. For me, it was such a phenomenal experience, like seeing humanity at its very, very best. And to have that come from something that's so bad is something I'm pretty proud of, really.
Well, the truth is, Danny, that the human spirit comes out often when it's in the worst situation, and that's a great example of it. So how many people? So within 7 weeks you launched this thing, and how many people were involved in the relay itself?
There was there was 2,000 plus, basically.
Right. Wow, that's astonishing.
I mean, a lot of people just kind of came and joined, especially on the last leg. There was probably 1,000 people on the very last kind of 4 or 5 miles.
Wow.
And then some of the people who'd been stopped in the marathon joined that. And the first time we ran it, it was a girl had been stopped a mile from her finish line because the bombs had gone off and they'd been redirected. And her father had been at the finish line waiting to watch her cross the line on her first marathon. Super proud father. He'd come all the way from LA to come and watch his daughter, and but he was one of the people that was really, really affected by the bombings, and very bad shrapnel wounds in his legs, and he died on the operating table. And this guy was waiting at the end. He was in his wheelchair. He hadn't yet relearned to walk, and she carried the baton for the last mile, the girl who'd been stopped, and he saw her finish that marathon, and she pulled him out of the crowd in his wheelchair, gave him the baton, and he was pushed across the finish line for the last kind of 10-15 meters of the relay. Even talking about that now gives me goosebumps on my head, and it makes me feel emotional.
Yeah, well, an astonishing achievement. And well, listen, let's move it into something called Project Awesome, where a lot of that energy is being directed at the moment, and you're heavily. Are you the founder of Project Awesome, Danny?
Yeah, founder of Project Awesome. I have been the sole leader for kind of 15 months of it.
Right.
And now, because we're spreading a little bit through the UK, there's new leaders are coming, and that's so exciting because they put their own energy into it.
Well, just take it back a step or two. So, just give us an understanding of what it is. What are you doing?
So, on paper, Project Awesome it's free fitness. It's super loud. It's super colourful. It's a little bit feral. We high five a lot. There's a lot of hugging. Like, I have a big cowbell that I ring, and everyone dances uncontrollably for 10 seconds or so, and it's super badass workouts as well. I mean, the workout's totally kind of scalable and for everyone, but it's pretty hard not to go hard at this. And we get elite athletes come down, but we also have grandma comes down. She's 74 years old, and she just walks the stairs that we're running, and everyone's pushing themselves. So that's what it is on paper. But behind that, there is this kind of silently growing tribal community of people that are just being themselves for this period, kind of wholly and unapologetically. The people that are involved in Project Awesome, they're kind of walking with this swagger because this tribe, they know this tribe is behind them. Like, no matter what goes on in their life, they're going to have this crowd of people that are going to back them. And it's such an interesting thing that was kind of, I found it, just to kind of be out there and working out with my buddies, and then it turns into something much more than you possibly could have imagined.
Well, this is where are these things? What are these happenings happening?
Well, at the moment, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday in London. Wednesday is at City Hall, beautiful location. Friday is on Primrose Hill, and Monday we do flash fitness. So I just tell everyone on Tuesday where we're going to be the following Monday, and then everyone just kind of shows up like a flash mob. We do a workout, and then we leave. And sometimes that causes a little bit. So we call them the fun police, and the fun police arrive and give us a little bit of grief and stuff. But normally it ends up with a fist pump, and we all just get on. We all just kind of get on. But then now it's spread to Bristol. So in Bristol, it's only started on a Wednesday, but they work out of the Lloyd's building, and it's always at 6:30 a.m. Which means the people that are come it's kind of self-selecting in that. People who can get up at 5:30 and get to a workout by 6:30 are the kind of people who are a little bit driven in life, and they're probably achieving a little bit. And so, and the real beauty of what's going on with Project Awesome, obviously everyone's getting fit, and there's this kind of beauty of beautiful community. But it's what happens in the coffee shop afterwards, and there's all these people are coming together, going, "Oh my God, you're the crowd of people I've been looking for all my life." We're all a little bit out of the box kind of types, and you're finding your tribe and. magical things happen from that coffee shop.
Well, let me give you a quick hypothetical, Danny, if I may, whilst we've got you on this. I mean, this is a free campaign. This is a free fitness program, so
Yeah.
no cost at all?
No cost at all. No,
Okay.
yeah, it's free. It's for everyone, and it's going to be free forever.
Okay, and you're taking on people of different standards and different fitness levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me give you a quick hypothetical. There's a guy, mid-40s, suffering a little bit with a constant back irritation, getting a bit fed up with this. Does the occasional podcast. Thinking to himself, what the hell am I going to do about this? Is that the kind of guy you think would benefit from these kind of events?
Yeah. These are this person should come to one of the events.
Okay.
Just see the kind of the difference it can make to you. Because obviously, like getting physically fit is going to support you, support the back and make things more possible and all those sorts of things. But this guy who's running this podcast, it kind of, if he met all the people that are at Project Awesome, he 100% have unlimited people to interview of people that are doing fantastic things throughout their lives.
Well, I shall tell him if there's no other benefit, then I shall tell him that.
That's great.
Listen, mate, that's absolutely fantastic. You're also an online contributor with the Huffington Post, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I haven't been too active recently, but I am still there.
And if anybody wants to see Danny in visual action, I believe you're also involved in some reality TV project recently.
That is true. I was on Special Forces Ultimate Hell Week.
Very good.
And it's kind of getting a few million viewers every show, which is great.
Absolutely.
And it was basically just 30 people put in a situation where we had different special forces come in, and they basically tried to break you mentally or physically, and we had to kind of endure this for 6 different special forces, and they each had us for 48 hours each. And fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, I was one of the people that lasted till the end, and it was incredibly hard, but it was a kind of a very you kind of learn quite a lot about yourself when you're in that kind of situation where you are being. Everyone was pushed to breaking point, and it was how you deal with that situation.
Well, Danny, I tip my hat to your many achievements, and it's been great to be in the company of such energy this morning. So, listen, how do people get a hold of you? How do people get involved with Project Awesome?
Well, to get in touch with me, the best way to do it is go to dannyvent.com, and from there, there's all the social media buttons and all that sort of normal stuff. Project Awesome, just look up Project Awesome on Facebook, or even just do a quick search on Google. It comes up everywhere, like Runners World's running projects about it. There's it was in Gracia. It's going absolutely crazy. Like I say, we're in London, we're in Bristol, we're launching in Edinburgh in December, and I want everyone to be able to have a go at Project Awesome and to be able to be part of it. So if you want it in your city, get in touch with me. If you think you're a leader, then that's even better. Then let me know, and we can talk about creating Project Awesomes all over the UK, all over the world, wherever.
Well, listen, Danny was recommended to me by a mutual friend of ours, and you are, sir, very much what you practice what you preach. And it's been a joy to speak to you. I'd like you actually to hang on a bit for a second after the recording ends, because I think I need to get more detail about this decrepit podcaster and his fitness campaign. But Danny, in the meantime, certainly for the podcast, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
That's great. LawyerFair Daily Podcast. We'll be back again with you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
.co.uk Daily Podcast. If you'd like to listen to more, why not subscribe and download each episode via iTunes, or visit us on the LawyerFair.co.uk website.